I don't have a formal presentation here. I would just really like to talk with you about issues surrounding validity in qualitative research. And I titled this discussion as "How Could I Be Wrong?", which I stole from, I stole that phrase from Joe Maxwell, who is another qualitative researcher and ethnographer, who has a wonderful book called Qualitative Research Design, which if you have not seen and read that book, I would highly recommend it to you. It is written specifically for graduate students who are getting started with their research. And it's a very easy to read, straightforward kind of how to do it book with including examples from some of his students who were working on their dissertations when he was writing the book. In Maxwell's book, in the chapter on validity, it is entitled How Could I Be Wrong, or How Could You Be Wrong? And I do think that is the question that we need to face as qualitative researchers. When we are presenting our findings, when we are talking about the kind of work that we do, it can sometimes be hard to justify what we've done and to make clear how we found what we've found. And this has created, as I'm sure you're aware, a power differential with respect to policymakers, some legislators, other powerful people who have, for one reason or another, decided that they should discount qualitative research. They should not fund it, they should not pay attention to it, they should not worry about it. There is a contingent of people out there like that, but most people are more thoughtful than that. But they do need some help, I think, in understanding. Many people need some help in understanding the way in which qualitative researchers arrive at their findings or conclusions, and the reasons why they chose to pursue the work in the way that they did. And some way of, they need to be convinced that the findings are worth paying attention to, that they are credible in some way. So I'd like to start by just asking you for what your experiences have been with this, with the challenges of trying to justify qualitative research or provide a rationale for the research that you do, or to explain the findings that you have in such a way that people take them seriously.
Hello, my name is Margaret. I'm a second PhD student in health education. And one of the issues that came up in the process of me trying to publish my master's thesis was the question of quantity of participants, and whether or not that's enough, if I had enough participants to make the propositions and the arguments that I was making, enough data to support it. So I wanted to know, could you talk more about the question of quantity when it comes to qualitative research in the publication process?
And how many participants did you have?
I had 4 participants for a narrative study.
And it was a narrative study?
Yeah.
So one strategy is to say what you've said, which is that I'm using a particular kind of methodological approach, the narrative research approach, and it doesn't require a lot of big numbers to justify its existence. Another way to do it is to try to appeal to some other source of information to support the claims that you're making with the 4 participants. So if you can say that you did a pilot study and it's consistent, the results of your pilot study are consistent with the new study that you're reporting, then that is a way of increasing the numbers, maybe not by a lot, but at least by some. These are all inspired really by positivist issues and concerns about the size of your sample and the consistency of raters' responses to, or reviewers' responses, analysts' responses to participants' to participants' answers to questions and things like that. What about trying to explain this or justify it in qualitative terms? What could you say? What might you say? So what's the value of having a small sample? Just a few people. Depth, absolutely. You mentioned context. That's another one. You can pay a lot of attention to context. Rapport.
Building relationships, easier for small.
Building relationships.
I mean, at the risk of sounding unintellectual, I think you would have a deeper understanding of the human experience with a smaller sample because of all of these things that you could do, building deeper relationships, understanding context, being connected to the work that you're doing.
I think also qualitative researchers often select as their focal participants those who sort of fall as the outliers in a larger study. And what happens then if you have 100 participants is those 4 whose experiences may be vastly different are subsumed in the average and their voices completely lost.